Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Cryptocurrency investors are scared AF currently, as I will show you in just a moment with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, but I must insist that it does not make any damn sense, especially if you're considering XRP specifically. I've got three very positive stories that I want to share with you, all from within the last 1 to 3 days, indicating nothing but real world adoption of XRP and brighter days ahead. In fact, XRP is more popular than Ethereum and every other cryptocurrency on the planet except for Bitcoin in part of the world, which is an interesting story. I'll share with you the specifics of that. Yet we're seeing a lot of very scary news coming out from all sorts of analysts and publication in terms of just how low XRP specifically might go. In fact, one analyst says it could go as low as 35 cents. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you their thoughts. I'll share with you my response to their thoughts. And I'm going to knock that out towards the beginning part of the video so that we can end on a very positive note. But it just doesn't make sense to be scared if you're thinking big picture. Now, I do want to be clear at the outset. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. But it is true, and I'm going to cover this. On-demand liquidity adoption, it's up over 800% recently. 800%. That requires the usage of XRP, folks. You understand that. If the adoption of it is increasing, then who the hell cares? It always makes me think back to when I see like adoption of XRP, and then I see price action when it's going down. When I see those two things happening at the same adoption going up, price going down. It just makes me think of Amazon a couple decades ago when its stock price went from $107 or so down to $6 or $7, whatever it was. And the adoption of the company and its technology and its foothold in the early days of the internet, like that was all getting stronger. So anybody that was paying attention was like, wow, this is really going to pay off once the emotional aspects of what it is to speculate in markets, once that gets tamped down, once it dies off a bit or cools down a bit, whatever. Once that happens, well, where's the money going to flow? It's the same type of situation. If you think that real world success matters, then I don't get the point of freaking out over the short-term price action. Now, as I record this, XRP is down to 64 cents. Bitcoin's at $39,816. Market cap for the asset class, 1.85 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 40.88%. Here's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 23 out of 100, indicating that despite long-term viability, certainly for the asset class, people are scared out of their ever-loving minds. I don't think it makes sense. And here's how they're emotionally responding. This comes from analyst Josh Rager. It's a chart showing the last 3 days. He wrote the emotional cycle of crypto investors over the past 3 days. If you're looking at your screen, hopefully you can at least chuckle over this because this is what humans are doing. It's showing 3 days of volatility and how people are emotionally responding along the way. Bear market, it's over. Ooh, it goes up to the moon. It's bear market now. To the moon. Bear market. To the moon. Oh, bear market again. Can you imagine living your life like this? It's so irrational, so illogical. I can sympathize with people when they're concerned because I get it. You've got your real money in this. That's why what I'm arguing for is doing your best to separate facts and logic from emotional response to something that you own going down in terms of price. Like you got to separate these things, the emotion from the logic, basically. But here's a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber, Alex Cobb, and he wrote, not gonna lie, 64-cent XRP kinda hurts a little bit. Can't believe we were getting oppressed by the SEC while Bitcoin and ETH tripled previous all-time high. Our time will come. And so nothing but respect. I understand where the comment's coming from, and all of us can relate to it at least, right? I can. I understand that I'm not feeling the same things because I just don't respond that way. Like, I'm such a big picture guy. My expectations from when I started investing is this is going to be a 5-10 year thing. And so it is what it is for me. I'm just looking at this like, okay, whatever. But I understand why people feel this way. It's not like this is crazy to feel this way. People aren't stupid. They are not stupid for feeling this way. I get it completely. And I can understand you're sitting here now, you're like, oh my gosh, if I just put my money in so-and-so coin, whether it's Bitcoin, which ended up tripling, if I had bought that at the bottom of the bear market instead of XRP, this is okay. Yeah, but you didn't have that information and you don't know that, and you were taking risk, because look, this isn't about, understand, this isn't about fundamental adoption of these cryptocurrencies. At least maybe you can maybe argue a small percent of this is, but the market moves together. So when coins are going to pop, whether it was Ethereum or this or that, you don't know for sure. You can guess, and people guess on both sides, and some are right, some are wrong. But my gosh, it really is a true guessing game at this point. It just doesn't make sense to beat yourself up. And so the fact that XRP isn't one of the things I hold that has had as big of a multiplier effect as some other coins out there, okay, that's fine. You know what? I bought Chainlink when it was 25 cents and it went to $50, I think, and I don't know what it is today. I haven't looked. I get it. So that was a much bigger multiplier effect, and I could cry. I'd be like, I should have just put all my money in Chainlink. But how the hell would I know? It doesn't make sense to worry about these things. And even if the price gets lower, it has nothing to do with adoption. But here's scary news regardless. And again, that's why I wanted to cover this first before getting into the really positive stuff, so we can end on a positive note here. But there's this article from A&B Crypto doing analysis for various cryptocurrencies, and here they were citing that it looks like, I don't want to read the whole thing, it's on your screen, but they're saying, hey, looks like XRP could plunge further in the coming days and weeks toward the channel lows at 51 cents. Ooh, well, that's how I reason. If that happens, I'll be like, okay, whatever. But it could be even scarier. In fact, here's a couple tweets from chart analyst Leb Crypto, and he's very pro XRP, mind you. He thinks that it's going to go at least to $10 before this market cycle completes, but he does think in the short term, for all altcoins, including XRP, you could potentially see them dip quite a bit. And so here's what he wrote. Looking forward to buying Ethereum in the 1,050 to 1,450 range sometime this year. So let me pause to note. Ethereum's currently a little shy of $3,000, and he thinks it may get as low as $1,000, right? So it's not just XRP saying this about, he's just talking about bigger picture of crypto, like where's the price action at? And he says, excellent macro buying opportunities lying ahead. Key is to be very patient for entries and wait for a major capitulation event followed by a boring period of price action. If this all plays out, and I believe it has a high chance, then alts will bleed a lot more. And if this happens, then he's calling for XRP to go down potentially to 35 to 40 cents. Now that will scare the hell out of people. It will not scare me in the least. That will have nothing to do with the long-term viability and adoption of XRP, like just about 0% in my humble opinion. That's exactly what I think. My bet was made over 4 years ago, and I said either XRP goes to zero or it's going to be worth an absolute fortune. To me, it's a binary bet. There's not going to be some sort of in-between where XRP hovers around 50 cents or 60 or 70 cents for the next 3 decades. That's not happening. To me, there's about a 0% chance of that happening. Like, seriously. It's either, so meaning that XRP will either go to zero because it fails and it doesn't get globally adopted, or it's worth a fortune. That's my bet. And so the fact that there's a lot of volatility in between, which has nothing to do with the real world adoption of XRP, doesn't change my calculus. It doesn't change my rationale for why I'm doing what I'm doing at all. If XRP goes down to 35 cents, I will not be scared. I'll make videos about it trying to explain why I'm not scared, but I very genuinely mean that. I am bulletproof on this stuff emotionally. It doesn't make sense to be scared about this stuff. In fact, to the contrary, which is why I'm looking forward to getting this, adoption is increasing. So when the price is going down, you should just think of Amazon. If the adoption's increasing, things are getting better in the real world, and people just don't know it, and they're not factoring that in as they're panic selling their cryptos because, let's be real, it's emotion, not logic based. If they're doing that while the adoption's increasing, what does that represent to you? That XRP is actually failing? Or does it represent an opportunity for those that want to jump into crypto and purchase stuff? What does it mean? You know where I stand on this stuff. It doesn't freaking matter. My calculus doesn't change whatsoever on that front. Then there is this from chart analyst Credible Crypto. Still valid 1 month later. Still thinking we are basing before our next leg up. Nothing has changed, so neither has my bias. Keep it simple. And so Credible Crypto, he's been calling for this for some time. He didn't think, actually, and he talked about this like 5 months, more than 5 months ago. He didn't think that there was going to be a blow-off top specifically at the end of 2021 as many did. He did not. And he ended up being right. There was not a blow-off top. And he thought that this would drag off into 2022 and perhaps even further. And I've talked about his analysis before, so I'm not going to go terribly in depth. But he's noting here, like what we're seeing from his perspective anyway, This is normal. This is in line with what he was anticipating, and he called these lows that we're seeing now, that the local lows of Bitcoin going down to a little below $39,000 recently. He was saying expect that when it was around $42,000, and that's come to pass. And he says it's all part of the plan. It doesn't mean that it makes sense to freak out about this stuff, and adoption in crypto on the whole, it's just going to increase. And then there was this from on-chain analyst Will Clemente. Here, I'll make this chart full screen. He wrote, Bitcoin whales holdings are now the highest since September of last year. This continued increase has honestly surprised me. So look at this. Why is this adoption increasing if everything's just getting worse and scary, and if we're supposed to expect that the market's going to have a complete failure? Well, it doesn't look like it is to me. We haven't even had a blow-off top yet. In fact, look at this tweet from Bagsy, who wrote, Bitcoin didn't have a blow-off top like everyone expected. Why are people convinced we'll have a capitulation event to mark the bottom? Well, I'm not. Because if you're talking about a true blow-off top like we've seen historically over previous market cycles, then okay, fine. Crash 80%, crash over 90% for various coins. But they're not going to crash that much if you haven't had the blow-off top, which was completely irrational. It doesn't make any sense. The crash happens after the crazy blow-off top, which we haven't had. Here's chart analyst DIY Investing, which wrote the following. He shared this chart. I'll make it full screen. He wrote, oh no, the world is ending and Bitcoin is in a bear market. No, you're just scared and have more invested than you are willing to lose. I am accumulating. And so he gets the big picture, and he understands the temperament of humans, us fickle creatures, yes, emotionally responding to the ups and downs. And when scary times like this are present, historically, they've represented buying opportunities. How about that? So what about the good stuff, though? Let's talk about the good stuff, because again, real-world adoption is required for any crypto to have long-term viability. I'm seeing real-world adoption for XRP. And so the fact that it's tethered to the price action of other cryptocurrencies which don't have utility and they all move in tandem, that does not scare me, period. When the price of XRP goes down, it doesn't mean that XRP adoption is failing. If XRP adoption were failing, then I'd care. And if that starts to happen, you better believe I'm going to be streaming it from the Moon Lambo channel. I'll be like, oh, it's failing. This use case isn't working. Is there any other reason for it to stick? Yes, I will be talking about all that stuff if that happens, but that's not the world we live in. We live in a world, thankfully, where adoption is increasing. So here's a quote, and this is an infographic created by XRP Crow. It's a quote from Brad Garlinghouse from within the last week or so. This is newer stuff. It's from an interview, and he said the following. We had a record year last year. The demand for our core product, which uses XRP to facilitate these cross-border payments, grew 8x year over year. Folks, that's 800%. 800% increase in adoption. The world is not sufficiently factoring in utility for any cryptocurrency, period. That's it. But adoption is increasing. And take a look at this tweet. I liked it. It's from Mac Attack XRP on Twitter. He said, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has already mentioned that the company has already shifted its business model to succeed on a global scale no matter what the SEC decides to do. Fact. XRP can't fail due to SEC lawsuit as market cap is too big. Look, I also agree that XRP cannot fail, won't fail specifically because of this, though it would affect to whatever degree the speed of adoption. But if worst case scenario happens, fine. Corridors of on-demand liquidity utilizing XRP can't touch the United States, in which case you'd have to use a different coin for those corridors. Any corridor touching the United States, that would be a blow. But it's continuing to be useful everywhere else, and it's increasing, and it's ramping up. So even the worst case scenario, Ripple, if anything, they just reincorporate outside of the United States entirely, and they just continue to do business, even if the worst happened, because XRP is still functionally useful. It's not going away as long as it's useful. It doesn't make sense to be scared over this stuff. That's my opinion. And then there was this from CryptoPotato.com. Here are the most popular cryptocurrencies in South Korea report. South Korean investors reportedly own over $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. XRP is the second most popular digital asset as locals hold nearly $4.8 billion in it. Oh, that's interesting. There are certain portions of the world, and this really over there in that portion of the world, we've actually seen this trend quite a bit. There are times when XRP has been more popular than Bitcoin, actually, which has really been pretty cool stuff. Anyway, then the piece reads as follows. South Korea's leading crypto exchanges, Upbit, BitHome, CoinOne, and Corbit, conducted a study to determine which digital assets are the most attractive to local investors. The largest cryptocurrency by market cap, which is Bitcoin, places first as South Koreans have invested more than $5 billion in it, and XRP ranks second with around $4.8 billion distributed in it. I'm telling you, like, we're going to look back a decade from now and be like, yeah, all that crazy volatility, it didn't matter. The market figured it out. I mean, a decade from now, not that everything will have been figured out, having to do with crypto, but it's going to be a lot more figured out than things are right now. These are truly early days, and I'm thankful to be here because this is where the real opportunity is. But you got to go against the grain because most of the world is not betting in favor of crypto. Here we are betting in favor of crypto and specifically XRP, but it's like a fraction of 1% of humans that even know anything about XRP or the fact that it exists. So you're going against the grain doing this stuff. It doesn't mean that there's not risks associated with this. But damn, yes, I sure as hell want to be here. that's for sure. Take a look at this, and this is cool too. From you today, Ripple plans to expand Korean market following on-demand liquidity's huge adoption. According to Rahul Advani, head of Ripple's Asia-Pacific policy, the company plans to enter the Korean market in earnest this year. Ripple is particularly interested in the Korean market, the top executive stated at the Future of Blockchain and Digital Assets in Korea conference, which was hosted by Ripple, GBC Korea, and Oxford Metrica and took place April 27th. And here's the cool part, though. He also stated that the ongoing Ripple SEC lawsuit has no impact on the adoption of Ripple's remittance platform, specifically on-demand liquidity. Folks, like I said, it can hamper things, especially what is hampering things now, the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. But and if it goes horrifically wrong, fine. Then you affect the adoption rate of XRP, and people in the United States are going to play a much, much smaller role, if any. Fine. But it's still getting adopted. The rest of the world's like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. It's a decentralized cryptocurrency. We're using it. That is what's happening. On-demand liquidity adoption functionally increasing. That is what matters. That is utility. And as I've said since I started this channel, utility matters and will win the day. And I don't know what day, but it's probably going to be a Wednesday. There's this too from you today. Ripple names new companies to start making NFTs on XRP Ledger using $250 million creator fund. And this is something that could be gigantic. I don't think NFTs are going away. And there's the XLS 20 amendment, which once voted on, if passed, is going to add all sorts of native functionality on layer 1 of the XRP Ledger that will directly benefit adoption of NFTs. And folks, with the incredibly blazing fast speed of the XRP Ledger and the practically free transactions, when you're looking at gas fees, would the XRP Ledger be superior for that, or a platform like Ethereum for NFTs? And they haven't begun to compete on this front, not really. So this is another opportunity. I don't know for sure how it's going to unfold, but it's definitely another opportunity. So take a look at this. According to a recent blog, Ripple blockchain service provider has added the final teams of NFT makers to the list of those who will be using Ripple's Creator Fund in the first wave. Projects selected by this fund will be making a problem-centered utility of non-fungible tokens such as carbon credits, real estate, media, etc. The $250 million fund, set up especially for this purpose, will allow dev teams to utilize XRP Ledger to create and launch their NFT projects. Ripple's fund has been created to help NFT makers launch their products on the XRP Ledger. By now, over 4,000 creators have filed their applications to be able to use the fund that offers creators money as well as creative and tech support. Among those who have been approved to use benefits of the Creator Fund are Justin Bua, Steven Sebrig, and Michael Jordan. You ever heard of Michael Jordan? Yes, that Michael Jordan, the basketball one, yes. But this is nothing to see here, folks, right? There's nothing to see here. This is all going to go to zero. So that's what I say. I don't know if XRP is going to go lower or much lower, but I'm telling you, however low it goes, that is in and of itself, people emotionally selling, the panic selling, that in and of itself has nothing to do with whether or not XRP will be long-term viable. So if it does that, I don't care. I'm not going to respond. I'm going to hold because my bet, either I'm right or I'm wrong. I don't know for sure, but either XRP goes to zero or it's worth a fortune. I'm betting on the latter. That's my expectation and hope. I don't know for sure, but that's my bet. And I'm not going to be the least bit scared about the volatility that happens in the meantime, because all data available, 13 years worth of crypto volatility, shows me I should expect the volatility. So if something is happening, if it is happening, and that means I should expect it to continue to happen, why am I going to be surprised and scared when it happens? I'd be freaking out if it weren't happening. I want the volatility stopped, then I'd be concerned. But the fact that it's continuing to do it, no, it doesn't make sense to be scared. That's not logical. I understand why. It's not fun to see something you put your real money in go down in price relative to the United States dollar or your fiat currency, but it doesn't freaking matter. So I'll go ahead and wrap it there. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.